Okay, the Dvar Torah, the Parsha insight for today, Friday, of Parsha Shlach. We said God instructed Moshe to tell the Jews of the first of your dough, donate a loaf to a Kohen. The Torah grants the privileges and responsibilities of the Kohens, the priests, only to the descendants of Aaron. To be sure, all Jews are equal, have an equal inherent value, and equally deserve our love and respect. However, when dealing with the question of who can be a religious practitioner or authority, so whether back then it was the Kohen, was also like the rabbi, spiritual leaders. Today it would be a rabbi not doing the Kohen stuff. We must realize that God has determined who can and who cannot assume these titles. Just as Kohanim can only be descendants of Aaron, the modern day spiritual leader from Aaron for knowledge would be rabbis and teachers, can only be individuals who have attained the necessary levels of knowledge, who are truly God-fearing, who observe the dictates of the Torah and absorb the historical traditions throughout the generations. Just as we require strict qualifications for those entrusted with guiding and facilitating our external religious lives, we should equally require strict qualifications for those inner voices that purport to tell us how to behave. So you have your inner Kohen. Which voice do you listen to being holy? We should constantly question our inner voices in order to be sure that we're being God only about pure and positive motives. Mm-hmm. So we're saying the Kohen back then was not just the Kohen; they're the rabbis. Now the rabbis, are those that are qualified with knowledge and reverence for God to be communal, spiritual guides. But you also have an inner voice that is a spiritual guide. And there's voices that clamor to be heard, and they say they're the spiritual guide. Be very careful which is actually the spiritual voice and what is really just a manifestation of